Taking care of parents is one of the most fundamental duties of children. But unfortunately, we see children neglecting this duty very often. Now the Telangana government has come up with a unique legislation that is going to ensure that elderly in the state are taken care of. Hello students, welcome to Drishti IAS. My name is Saloni Nandkyoliar and today we are going to talk about this unique parental care bill and the key features that are going to ensure that the parents in the state of Telangana are not neglected by their children. So this bill that I am talking about is called the Telangana Employees Accountability and Monitoring of Parental Support Bill 2026, and this bill has been passed by the Telangana Legislative Assembly. And with the passage of this bill, Telangana has become the first state in the country to having passed such a comprehensive parental care bill. Now, this is a very comprehensive legislation. We'll discuss that when we look at the key features of the bill. But with this, Telangana has become the first state in the country to have such an exhaustive law for parental care. Now, taking care of the elderly is actually a subject of the concurrent list. That is why we can also have individual states make legislation on this, and the center can also make a law on this. So, we already have a central legislation which is called Maintenance and Welfare of Parents and Senior Citizens Act 2007. So what is so special in Telangana's bill? So while passing the bill also, Telangana said that it is going to go over and above the existing central legislation to ensure that the parents are not neglected. So we'll discuss that also. But before we do that, do we have anything in the constitution that basically directs the state to take care of the elderly, to take care of the senior citizens in the country? Yes, we have article number 41. Article number 41, which is a DPSP, Directive Principles of State Policy. It is a directive that has been given to the state to take care of the elderly, to take care of the senior citizens, to take care of the underserved category. So Article 41 says that the state shall, within the limits of its economic capacity and development, make effective provisions for securing the right to work, the right to education, and the right to public assistance in cases of unemployment, old age, sickness, and disablement. So it ensures that the sick population, the elderly population, the old age population in the country, in these different states, is properly attended to. The states, individual states can also make legislation on this, and the country as a whole can also make a legislation on this, because Article 41 gives this directive to the state. So we have something in the constitution, and in accordance to that, these legislations are being made. So if we look at the key features of this bill in particular, the first and the most important feature is actually its wide coverage. Wide coverage. Now, briefly, this law basically says that all the people, whether they are public representatives like MPs or MLAs, whether they are government employees or whether they are private employees, will have to take care of their parents. They cannot neglect their parents. They'll have to take care of their parents, and in case they are found neglecting their parents, then they'll have to face a penalty. So the most important part over here is the wide coverage, that it is not just restricted to government employees as usually in many legislations. It has been expanded to private employees also, and to public representatives also, MPs and MLAs also, to ensure that they themselves follow the legislations that they make. So MPs and MLAs are also under the bracket, government employees are also under the bracket, and private employees are also under the bracket. Then if we talk of the penalty, what penalty will they have to face? Now usually what happens, and even in the central legislation what happens, it is grievance based. So whenever a complaint is filed, it will go to the tribunal, and the tribunal will decide what is going to happen. Will there be a fine? Will there be a directive? What is going to happen? But this penalty in this legislation is actually unique. It's a salary linked penalty. Now let's say any employee, whether government, whether private, or whether MP or MLA is found neglecting their parents, there is going to be a salary deduction of 15%. 15% or rupees 10,000, whichever is lower. So it's a fast redressal. It's a unique redressal. We are not actually going to wait for a fine to be imposed by the tribunal. We will simply deduct their salary. The employer will simply deduct their salary by either 15% or by rupees 10,000, whichever is lower in this case. And this deducted amount is going to go to the parents of that employee. So this is the unique thing in this bill, that we are not going to wait for the cases to go into tribunals, for the complaints to go into tribunals. Whenever such a complaint arises, in that case, an immediate deduction is going to happen. If the neglect has been established, then immediate deduction is going to happen, and it's going to be universal, 15% or 10% or 10,000 rupees, whichever is the lower. And then in that case, this amount is going to go to the parents so that they can take care of themselves. So it's kind of very monetarily driven. People will, or the children in this case, are going to be more and more vigilant that they take care of their parents. They don't neglect their parents, because if they do so, their salary firsthand can be deducted, and they will not have to, it's not a justice delayed kind of a scene where they'll have to wait for the verdict and see what happens. The parents in this case will not have to keep on waiting for time immemorial. They will in fact just be getting the service that they actually need. Justice is going to be served right in time. This deduction is going to happen, and this money is going to go to the parents. So this is the unique thing. One is the wide representation, that everybody has been brought under the bracket. There is absolutely no exemption. And second is that there is a fast redressal mechanism, because there is a salary based deduction. But there can be some drawbacks also, some concerns also, some questions that still remain unanswered. And those questions, most importantly, are going to be: how do you establish this neglect? How do you establish this neglect? So if a complaint has been filed, how do you establish that yes, neglect has happened? There has to be a proper mechanism for that. There have to be proper provisions for that, so that it is not misused at all. Because in rare situations, we do see some misuse of certain things, misuse of all the laws. So as to ensure that it is not misused at all, we need to ensure that neglect has been established in a proper manner. And if it has been established, if it has been proven that the children have neglected their parents, then yes, definitely the salary deduction should happen. But proper provisions need to be there, proper monitoring needs to be there. So these are some questions that still remain unclear at the moment as to what are the different provisions that have been given in the bill. But broadly, we need to understand that yes, such a legislation exists, and Telangana has become the first state in the country to have such a legislation. So that was all for this discussion. I hope you enjoyed the video. Now we will look at a practice question for prelims. The Telangana Parental Support Bill 2026 has recently made headlines. Which of the following statements about it is or are correct? 1. It makes it mandatory for children to take care of their parents and provides for salary or pension deduction in cases of neglect. 2. It applies to government employees, private sector employees, and elected representatives, including MPs and MLAs. Choose the correct statements. A. 1 only. B. 2 only. C. Both 1 and 2, or D. Neither 1 nor 2. Please attempt this question and provide your answers in the comment section. Thank you for watching.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.